so last time we took a look at this really weird core Ellie build that you would think is ridiculous at first, but it's actually pretty good. So you can take a look at the previous video if you're interested in that, and if not, here's the build we'll be taking a look at in this video. This is very similar to my other Fire Air Weaver build, but it's core Ellie. So it's a lot like the build that I covered in the last video, but it's just reversed. Now instead of running full Xaoc, we're running full Selly, so we're running bunker stats and glassy traits. And this should give you a good idea of how you can kind of mess around on Elementalist. Like, you have to find a way to balance it out. If you're going to run bunker stats, you should have some traits that are going to allow you to actually kill things. You don't want to double down on both. That just tends to be a bad idea. Unless you're running a full Xaoc gank build. You can mess around with that, but that's, you know, only good for certain situations. So anyway, this build is a lot like the Fire Air Weaver build that I covered before, except for, well, obviously we're not running Weaver. We've got increased mobility because you can do, oh, I can't use my skill 3 anymore, but you can use the Earth and Rush, you can use the Fire 3, and I have the skill click right now. You can use the Ride the Lightning. So you do have quite a lot of mobility, and you have the super speed trait as well. But yeah, the main strengths of this build compared to the Weaver version is that obviously you have protection. You're going to get a little bit of heal from the Arcane Restoration. You can take renewing stamina if you'd prefer the Vigor. This trait is okay. I mean, I'm not going to proc it too often, but whenever you actually get a CC off, it's going to help. You can get some extra boons from that. Don't take this trait; it's just not worth it. I mean, if you really want to, go ahead, but it's not really that good, to be honest. I mean, the 5-minute cooldown that's just overkill. I mean, they basically just deleted this trait. Bountiful Power, again, we're taking that because I would prefer not to take the dodge trait, because most of the time when I die, it's because I've been CC'd or you're immobilized or something, so I can't dodge anyway. That's not really helpful, and I don't really need the burn. I mean, the burn damage is nice from the fire dodge. And the blind is nice, you know, cripple is nice. Like, this is a good trait. If you want to take that trait, it's definitely an option. But right now I'm just taking the Bountiful Power because with the Weaver traits, we had, over here we had a Swiftness trait for 10% damage, and you'd have some like power and ferocity bonuses, whatever. So we're missing that, so I'm just trying to make up for that. You could also take the Elemental Surge if you really want to, but then at that point you'd have to change one of these traits to Arcane, and that's just not the kind of build that I'm going for here. So yeah, it's basically like the Fire Air Weaver build. It's just a little bit different. I find it has a bit more sustain, obviously, and you can definitely combo things a little bit easier, but just mind you that the combos are different. It's not so much that it's better than the Weaver version, it's just different. It's a different way of solving the same problem. So yeah, just in case you didn't watch the Weaver video for this build, it's basically the same thing. You've got the Earth Shield for anti-range with the Magnetic Surge. You've got a block, you've got an invuln, and you can pull people. And the auto attack is actually very good. The last skill is going to hit twice, it's going to have a damage increase on it, and it actually ends up hitting pretty powerfully, like about 4k or so. And then usually what happens when you're doing that burst is you'll proc Pyromancer's slots, and that tends to hit for a lot of damage. You also got Fresh Air, so you can immediately go into conversions and auto attack. You can stun them. You can then actually hit them with Ride the Lightning, because when you do that, you're going to decrease the cooldown. Some people don't know that when you hit with this skill, the cooldown is halved. The other main burst that I do with this build is the Burning Speed, and you also kind of have to dish it out in a different way than you would on Weaver. You might want to like hit these skills first, maybe even hit that skill too, and then I'm going to go for Burning Speed, go into air while I'm doing that, and you can start your air rotation. And I might go into earth afterward, it'll quickly go into water, and then you can go back to air, and then by then your fire is back, you can go to fire. And that's just one way that I like to rotate on this one.